The 26th Cavalry Regiment was part of U.S. Army Forces Far East's Philippine Department during World War II. The 26th engaged in the last cavalry charge in the history of the U.S. cavalry. The American Battle Monuments Commission lists 301 dead who were members of this regiment interred at Manila American Cemetery and Memorial. Formation. The 26th Cavalry was formed in 1922 at Fort Stotzenburg from elements of the 25th Field Artillery Regiment and the 43D Infantry Regiment. The regiment was based there, with the exception of Troop F. In addition to horse-mounted troops, the regiment had AHQ troop, machine gun troop, and a platoon of 6 Indiana White M1 scout cars, and trucks for transporting service elements. On the 30th of November 1941, the regiment had 787 enlisted men and 55 officers. Combat history. Northern and Central Luzon. Following the 1941 Japanese invasion, the 26th participated in the Allied withdrawal to the Bataan Peninsula. In doing so, the unit conducted a classic delaying action that allowed other, less mobile, units to safely withdraw to the peninsula. During the delaying action, the 26th provided the stoutest and only serious opposition of the withdrawal. The majority of the units sent north, towards the Lingayen Gulf, were divisions of the untrained and poorly equipped Philippine Army. For instance, during the initial landings, the regiment alone delayed the advance of 4 enemy infantry regiments for 6 hours at Damotas, and on the 24th of December repulsed a tank assault at Binalonan. However, the resistance was not without cost, as by the end of the 24th of December the regiment had been reduced down to 450 men. Following these events, the regiment was pulled off the line and brought back up to a strength of 657 men, who in January 1942 held open the roadways to the Bataan Peninsula, allowing other units to prepare for the stand there. Bataan. The 26th Cavalry Regiment, consisting mostly of Philippine Scouts, was the last U.S. Cavalry Regiment to engage in horse-mounted warfare. When Troop G encountered Japanese forces at the village of Morong on 16 January 1942, Lieutenant Edwin P. Ramsey ordered the last cavalry charge in American history during the retreat from Bataan. The 26th was heavily outnumbered by an infantry force supported by tanks. They drove off the surprised Japanese. Following this, due to a shortage of food, the mounts were butchered and the regiment was converted to squadrons, one a motorized rifle squadron, the other a mechanized squadron utilizing the remaining scout cars and Bren carriers. Guerrilla activities. Following the delaying action down the central Luzon plain, Troop C was cut off from the rest of the regiment, having been ordered into northern Luzon in an attempt to defend Baguio by Major General Wainwright in late December 1941. In January 1942, the unit, with assistance from 71st Infantry and elements of the 11th Infantry, raided Tuguegarao Airfield, destroying several planes, and killing multiple Japanese soldiers. Eventually the unit was supplemented by other soldiers and guerrillas, and remained an effective fighting force well into 1943. The remnants of Troop C would later be integrated into the United States Army forces in the Philippines' northern Luzon, which due to deaths and captures would be led by Russell W. Volkman. Other guerrilla organizations were led by officers of the regiment who ignored the surrender orders, or by enlisted men who escaped from Bataan. However, those organizations did not have a direct connection to the regiment, as the Cagayan Apayao forces did. Descendant units. The regiment was deactivated in 1946 and completely disbanded in 1951. In February 1963 the regiment was constituted, again, in the Massachusetts Army National Guard and organized in March 1963 to consist of the 1st Squadron, all being assigned to the 26th Infantry Division within the Combat Arms Regimental System. Reorganized in 1967, allotting Troop A, B, and D to Massachusetts Army National Guard, and Troop C to the Connecticut Army National Guard, and again in 1971 reallotting Troop D to the Rhode Island Army National Guard, and once more in 1986 allotting Troop A to CTNG. In 1988, the regiment was reorganized and redesignated as the 110th Cavalry Regiment. Later, in 1989, the regiment was withdrawn from CARS and reorganized under the United States Army Regimental System. The regiment, as the 110th Cavalry, was relieved from the 26th Infantry Division in 1993. 173rd Infantry Detachment of the Rhode Island Army National Guard states that it was formed from the existing troops of Troop D, 126th Cavalry in October 1986. Decorations: Philippines Islands Campaign Streamer, 3 Presidential Unit Citations, Philippine Presidential Unit Citation.